Greetings, travelers of Middle-earth, and welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby, and together with my co-host and cousin and beautiful person, Ashley, it is our quest to share and discuss all things Tolkien. This season, we are on The Unfinished Tales.
Whether you're a devoted scholar of all Tolkien lore, or maybe you've just read this book before, like me.
Or maybe you've read some other Tolkien books and are just setting foot into this particular epic adventure like me.
Our podcast promises a fellowship of lively banter, quite lively sometimes, and insightful journeys through the heart of Tolkien's realm.
So ready your maps and pack your lembas bread. Lembas. And it's time to embark on our quest. Let's go!
Let's go! How are you, Abby?
Well, then I gotta get back to you. Okay, there you are. I'm good. We are recording on Easter. Happy Easter, Ashley.
Happy Easter, Abby.
Happy Easter to all those who celebrate Easter as well.
Mm-hmm. If not, just happy spring. Hooray,
happy
spring is here.
Beautiful Sunday. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. I want to apologize. So as I think I mentioned last week, my husband has been gone out of the country. Plus all hell broke loose at my job, plus single mom in it. We were not able to record last week. So I apologize. Life got in the way, unfortunately. Also, I may have escaped my house. I kidnapped my daughter and we just ran for it, and we ran away to Abby's.
A positive kidnapping.
Yes. And we ran away from our troubles to go visit Abby, which was so much fun.
It was. She came and visited me and my family, and we did all the fun things, and I got to be an auntie, which I love.
Oh, she freaking loves you.
And my kids love having Lizzie over, so it's pretty fun. So we had some much needed family time.
Yes. So we appreciate your understanding and your patience. We get these episodes and do it as much as we can, but sometimes you gotta
people and humans
delegate those spoons. I have to delegate my spoons wisely when I'm single mom in it, and sometimes that means I'm not gonna to do my Instagram post that week, or sometimes that means we're not gonna record. I literally texted Abby yesterday, and I was like, is there any way you could record Sunday morning instead? Because I cannot keep my eyes open, and it is only 9:00 and I have not done my outline yet. And wonderfully, she's like, of course, I can do that.
She was literally typing. She was literally texting me in her dreams. That's how sleepy she was. She was already asleep.
Yes. Speaking of dreams, I have a dream. I had a dream. Okay, not I have a dream. You can't start I have a dream like that. I had a dream. It's like both of my worlds are colliding. Okay, so I'm not sure if you've listened. Oh, we talked about this a little bit, but like the musical Six about
the wives
King Henry VIII's wives, right? Yep. Right. So I've had their songs like kind of shuffling through my head for a good month now. But then in other realms of my brain, I have also been listening to this book called The Five, which is about Jack the Ripper's victims. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool? I'm putting this out in the universe. Someone please do this. Just give me like a teensy bit of credit or royalties. You get it. So someone needs to make a 6 version of The Five. So I want a musical of Jack the Ripper's victims but being like, actually, here's what really happened, sir. And like, then they get to
Ooh,
like
and
tell
it's a
their own
murder
story, kind of.
mystery. It's a murder mystery
Yeah.
musical. Murder mystery musical.
Yeah.
Murder mystery musical.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
Whoa.
Because like I'm finding out all these cool things about these women. Like most of them weren't even like ladies of the night. You know, they just happened to like sleep in the same houses as the ladies of the night. And you know, one lady was like, dude, my husband cheated on me and now he's living with that woman and yet I'm the one that has to live on the streets. What the heck? And then everyone paints her as the bad person. So it's like, yeah, what the heck, man? Let's tell their stories. Exactly. Yeah. So I want a musical, not like Les Miserables, more like Six, where I just want them to be like, men are dumb. Okay, not men are dumb, but
power. Also, they have to just be, it just has to be as confusing and just name it 5. And then we're like, wait, 6, 5. And then it just like keeps going.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll put it out in the universe. It will happen.
Right? Please make it happen, universe.
Oh, well, like we said, we hope you guys are enjoying your Easter, or when this comes out, you've enjoyed your Easter.
Yes.
I'm making deviled eggs because, of course.
Of course.
And I'm making some Easter bread, which is so good. It's like braided. Thing? It's like it's called Easter bread, but I don't finish the recipe because you're supposed to make bread and then you like knead the dough and everything, and then you like twist it like a braid, and then you make it into like a wreath. So it looks like a braid, but it's a circle, and it's really, really good. But the reason why they call it Easter bread is because they put like your colored Easter eggs that you dyed in the dough, like around like a wreath.
Nope.
I don't do that part. I mean, it's like a hard-boiled egg in really good bread, which I can tell would be really good, but I haven't done it. So
that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Speaking of a lot of work.
Man, that tour. Yeah, I don't know how to segue from that.
He's got a lot of work ahead of him.
He does have a lot of work ahead of him. How much do you remember of last week?
We got to meet Ulmo, right?
We were able to have some role playing, yeah.
We got to meet Ulmo. I got to meet
amazing
Ulmo, which was pretty good. Yeah. I gotta say. Where's my Oscar, right?
Yeah.
So giant.
Like, what do you remember of the conversation? Ulmo,
yeah. Giant scary Ulmo was like,
right.
Hey, buddy. I'm the one that's been giving you all those really obvious clues that I guess weren't obvious enough sometimes, but you know, there you go. And he's like talking him up because Tuor's like, wait, I don't know if I'm the right guy. He's like, yeah, you are. I picked you specifically. Like, you are the right guy for this. But then he also talks like not super straightforward, and he kind of talks in like godly riddles.
Yes.
Like godly riddles, which I'm always like, just tell him exactly what you need him to do.
Yeah, like, you gotta spell it out for Tuor anyway. Like,
if you want the job done, vague. If you want the job done right, you got to tell him exactly what you want, right? That's basically that is the philosophy for anyone. Is if you want the job done right, you gotta lay it all out, spell it all out.
It's like giving your husband a shopping list. You got to take the pictures, or you got to say which aisle it's in, or got to put it in the right order.
Yeah, because it's like, if you're gonna be cryptic, what if he does it wrong, and then you're like, oh no, the fate of the world, And then you're like, oh, I should have explained that a little better. But oh well.
So
It's his fault.
it
It's his
really on?
fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
So doesn't he like say something like, you're destined for greatness, but it's also going to be super terrible and super hard.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the road's going to suck because you should have been here earlier. I had this nice day trip planned for you, and now it's going to take months. You should have been here in the spring.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this in the last episode, but like him like getting mad at him, he should have been here earlier. He's like, yeah, for sure. And he like takes off his flower crown, like really like slyly, like, oh yeah, totally. Whoops. Like, my bad. And then did he say something about like his future kids or something? Or like
that was one of the cryptic comments. He's like, and something about like a star in the sky, and then he's like, wait, I get like should have said that.
I've said too much. I've said too much. Should not have
but
said
he does
that.
get
Should not have said that.
He does get a snazzy cloak, which is like a tiny corner of Ulmo's cloak, and that's gonna keep Tuor safe. It's basically an invisibility cloak. Let's be real here.
Dude, he held it up, and it's like he's so big. He like held it up, and it's like tiny little like doll clothes to him, and he's like holding it up. He's like, "Here you go." And he like hands it to him, and the tag on the inside says like "designed by Ulmo," like a designer.
Aww.
A designer label.
Do not wash or machine or hand wash only. Hand wash only.
Delicate.
Yes.
Do not air dry only.
Yeah. So he gets a snazzy cloak, and then he's like, and then he's like, I know I'm supposed to go on this quest now, but I really, really like the sea. And Ulmo's response to that is, here, let me blow my horn. And then the horn makes Tuor have this trippy vision of the world's waters. And then it like leads, he also gets like a flash of like a distant mountain, which is probably Tanaquitl, where, what is his name? Monway and the Star Lady all hang out. And then it just like stops. It's like, no, you don't get to see that far. And then Tuor is like, okay, that was trippy. And then Ulmo was like, okay, bye, I have to go. Yeah. And then
what if he like blows his horn while he's like going underwater? Like it's like this beautiful sounding horn, then he keeps going and he's just getting lower and lower, and then it's like like underwater.
Like blowing bubbles in a cup.
Yeah. I still must look majestic all the way down.
And then a crazy storm starts, and before he left, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to give you a guide because you don't know how to get there, do you? And you're obviously terrible with my directions, so I'm gonna save a person from this shipwreck that's about to happen because I can't control that crazy Ose guy. So I'm gonna save one, and he's gonna guide you there. Okay, bye. And then a storm starts.
Do you think the guy that was about to die in the ship is like, what the heck just happened? Like, why am I here now? What am I doing? Like, do you think
I have so many questions? Yeah.
That other guy is like, huh? What happened? What if he pulled him out of the ship like how the ocean does that to Moana and just like pulls him out and just throws him
at exactly
at the beach? Like, here you go. Here's your guide.
Yep. That's it. That's pretty much how I picture it going. But we are actually going to meet him today. So brace yourselves.
Man, the poor guy.
The poor man.
Well, he's actually lucky.
Yeah. But also, he's got to have that survivor's guilt, right? Like, all my friends are dead.
What? Yeah, and then like, why am I so special that I got pulled out? But we will see because we get to meet him.
Yeah. So we last left Tuor as a terrible storm was starting. Ose was doing his thing, getting all the waves angry. Lightning and thunder filled the sky. And needless to say, Tuor pretty much ran for cover. The poor guy had to climb all the way back up the cliffside stairs in his new armor, which, elf made or not, had to have been heavy. So much so that, quote, when he came out upon the top, it bent him to his knees. So it was like,
Yeah.
it's like that one scene in The Sword in the Stone with the wolf that's like trying to catch Arthur. So once he catches his breath and once he's able to stand, he makes his way back to the Great Hall. And you know, what better seating arrangement could he find than Turgon's old throne, which is where he's going to hang out and wait out the storm. Quote, the very pillars trembled for the violence of the storm, and it seemed to Tuor that the wind was full of wailing and wild cries.
Whoa.
Terrifying. No, thank you. No, thank you. So after his exhausting trek up the cliffside, Tuor was pretty tired, but with the storm raging outside and with the creepy voices he either was hearing or imagining, either way, as much as he wanted to sleep, when he did sleep, it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't a nice, like, I'm just gonna, you have your lavender scented pillow and your, memory foam, and he's like, and I'm going to sleep now. Yes.
He has a white noise machine.
It was more like yeah. It was not like that. It's like those crazy dreams when you aren't like fully asleep. Like, mine always happen when I sleep past my alarm, or I wake up with my husband who leaves early for work, and then I have trouble going back to sleep. And then when I finally do, like, I have the weirdest dreams.
Your brain's like, shove it all in. She only has 5 more minutes. Put all the stuff in. Put all the stuff in her dreams.
Pretty much. So Tuor is going to have some weird dreams, and he can't remember most of them, as it happens with dreams, unfortunately. The only thing he could remember from his weird dreams is, quote, a vision of an isle, and in the midst of it was a steep mountain, and behind it the sun went down, and shadows sprang into the sky, but above it there shone a single dazzling star.
Oh, well, there's more than one island in this story.
Right. But one that has a star above it. Like, at first, for some reason, I thought it was Valinor. Like, I guess you could call that an isle or an island, because that's kind of what he saw when he had the vision thing with Ulmo, with the waters. But then the single dazzling star above it, there's only one place that could be.
That's a Numenor island.
That is a Numenor island. Good job, Abby. So, kind of cool, but also, like, foreshadowing. So,
foreshadowing.
So, apparently, this dream was all, like, I don't know if it was, like, Ulmo or someone. Oh, no, who's the dream one? Is that Mando? Not Mandos. Oh, that's going to bother me. Lorien? Is Lorien the dream guy?
Who's the dream?
The dream guy.
The dream.
Yeah,
Valar?
there's a dream.
Or a Maiar. Is it a Valar or a Maiar?
It's a Valar. I'm pretty sure it's Lorien. Yeah. So once he had like shoved that, like he was like trying to like get it in.
You're right.
And then once he's like finally has the dream, he's finally able to go to sleep. Like, you just couldn't quite, like, he kept waking up and like, oh, now I have to start all over. Okay, start the video, start the feed. Oh no, we lost connection. Hold on, refresh the screen. So once he finally was able to view the whole clip, then he's able to go into a deep sleep. So in the morning, he wakes up, goes outside, and he saw that the outside was, quote, filled with seabirds driven in by the storm. So many seabirds in Tuor's story. But in my head, it's just like a beach covered with seagulls, right? Like, I don't know, like, are there like a variety of birds? Like, all of the birds are here now. Like, are his buddy seagulls there? Like, do they hang out for a bit? Does he update them on his crazy dream and the conversation he had with Ulmo? He's like, oh my gosh, you guys, you won't believe what happened since I saw you last. So many things. Like, okay, first off.
They're like, whoa.
So maybe that happened, maybe it didn't happen. But as Tuor is looking at the aftermath of the storm, he looks down at the cliffside, and leaning against the wall, he sees someone.
Is it the sad boat?
Who do you think it's going to be? Quote, an elf clad in a gray cloak sodden with the sea. Silent he sat, gazing beyond the ruin of the beaches out over the long ridges of the waves.
Oh no! He is the sad boat man. That sounds so sad. It sounds like he like washed up and then he's just like sadly staring out in the ocean like, my friends. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's so sad.
So, quote, as Tuor stood and looked at the silent gray figure, he remembered the words of Ulmo, and a name untaught came to his lips, and he called aloud, welcome, Veronway! I await you!
Oh, because didn't it almost
like, of
say,
all the things that he would,
speak through him or, like, give him the words in his brain?
Yes. So they have a telepathic connection, which is going to play a role later, too. But I love that he's like, welcome to my home here. Like, as if he was like I await you. Yeah, like, I await you. Like, aren't you going to come to me? Like, he just got shipwrecked, man. Like, give him a minute. Why don't you go to him?
Yeah. Also, like, read the room, man. Like,
yeah. Also,
the guy's depressed.
Right? So there is a footnote here, and just to remind you that after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, Turgon had tried to send ships to Valinor to get help from the Valar. But because of the Valar stealth shield being up, no one could ever get to them. So they would just basically wander the oceans until they either shipwrecked or landed on a random island. But somehow the islands also got kind of like stealth shielded / cursed, and like whenever they got on them, they'd be like confused and forget what they were doing. So basically these guys were screwed, but they were trying, you know, like they were, I can't imagine like, okay, who wants to go and try this like last ditch effort to reach the Valar? Anyone? Anyone? No one's come back so far. Like, I can't imagine what that like heroism / like bravery, self-sacrifice. Yeah, that must have been hard. Well, because it was on.
They're not coming back.
Yeah, it was on one of these ships that Veronway was on, and he was the guide that Ulmo chose to save from the shipwreck to help Tuor. So Veronway hears Tuor calling to him, and he just looks up at this beautiful man. And now that Tuor is able to see Veronway's face and his eyes, Tuor can just immediately tell from his eyes alone. He's like, oh, he is one of the high folk of the Noldor. This guy be special.
Whoa.
He OG elf. And I wonder what the difference is that it is that noticeable, like from just a glance, like, and from like a far distance too. Like, was it the glowing light-filled eyes that like Galadriel had? But
they have like big anime eyes, giant sparkly eyes. No, they have their hair is gorgeously like blowing in the wind all the time. Like, you don't know where the source of the wind is coming from. You're like, huh? And then it's like
they're indoors and they're still.
Yeah. He just turns around and he's like majestic, and Tuor's like, get it.
But you know, I it makes me wonder though, because you know Galadriel was supposed to have this kind of light in her eyes, and that was because she was one of the few in Middle Earth that had seen the two trees of Valinor before they got all stolen and stuff. So, you know, we're going to find out later that Veronway had actually never even been to Valinor. He was, in fact, born in Turgon's first settlement in Middle Earth of Nevrast. So he's never been to Valinor. So what was it in his eyes?
Tears.
Makes me wonder. Also, fun fact, in the filming of Galadriel in the movies, how they got her like glowy eyes, Christmas lights.
Oh, fairy
They filled it
lights,
with like
as they
Christmas
would say.
lights. Yeah.
They call them fairy lights.
Yes. So, anyways, now at first glance, Tuor knows this elf is one of the Noldor, as we just said. But at first glance with Faranwe, he's a little scared of Tuor. Quote, fear and wonder grew in his gaze as he saw Tuor standing high upon the wall above him, clad in his great cloak, like a shadow out of which the elven mail gleamed upon his breast.
So, like, he kind of looks like Batman, just like standing like above him. His cape's like flying in the wind. He's like, "It is I, Tuor," and he's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Let me blink through my tears of crying over my poor, poor friends. What?
Mm-hmm.
Your outfit, is it designer? Elven designer?"
But also, like, okay, Tuor, obviously, we've been over this before, probably doesn't have that great of social skills, right? He has been in the cave. He's been by himself for a long time. So I imagine Tuor had this like look of wonder and excitement on his face to see like one of the OG elves. Like, I think that's how they would think of the Noldor, right? Like, oh, one of the ancient ones. Yeah. And then Faranwe sees Tuor's excitement, but it actually just looks terrifying.
Yeah, he has those crazy eyes. He's like,
yes.
He's like,
yes. Quote, a moment thus they stayed, each searching the face of the other. So like camera pans in on Faranwe. Camera pans in on Tuor. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Tuor just has this like crazy happy smile on his face, like, hey! And then the other guy's like has red eyes from just sobbing, and he just kind of was like glancing at him like, huh?
Yeah. But then Faranwe actually stands up and bows to Tuor.
Oh, what?
Right? And he says, quote, who are you, Lord? Long have I labored in the unrelenting sea. Tell me, have great tidings befallen since I walked the land? Is the shadow overthrown? Have the hidden people come forth? Like, who are you? I've been out of the country for a while, so tell me what's new in Middle-earth. You know, have you guys figured out how to get rid of that Morgoth guy? Or did my buddy Turgon, the hidden people have to come out and figure it all out? Or what's going on? What's new?
Is there a new season of Grey's Anatomy?
What's the latest fashion trends? Is this what we're going with here? It's interesting. It's a new look.
It's a new look Turgon for sure. Says,
quote, nay, the shadow lengthens and the hidden remain hid. Like, actually, Morgoth has gotten way worse, believe it or not. Yeah. And as for those hidden people, funny you should mention them, because I've actually been on this really long journey to try and find them. So it's interesting that you would know who they are. But then Faranwe just looks at Tuor in, quote, long in silence.
Because he'd probably be like, really? It's still happening?
Yeah.
I've been gone so long and you guys haven't figured this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then he says, quote, but who are you? For many years ago, my people left this land, and none have dwelt here since. And now I perceive that despite your raiment, you are not one of them, as I thought, but are of the kindred of men. Like, you answered two of my questions, but you didn't answer my question of who the heck are you? Because no one's lived here in years. So I kind of feel like you're maybe trespassing. But, also, plus, despite your elaborate disguise, your accent gave you away. You are no elf. You are just a man. I take that bow back.
See,
you bow to me, actually.
I'm bowing to you.
Yeah.
He's like leaning the other way. I'm unbowing to you. I take it back.
Yeah. But Tuor doesn't really even seem to be offended by this. He actually just confirms it. He's like, yep, I'm a man. Quote, I am. And are you not the last mariner of the last ship that sought the west from the havens of Círdan? Like, weren't you one of those people that like volunteered to die basically to try and get to the Valor? No, is that you?
Are you one of those
And
sad guys?
and then Veronway replies, quote, I am. Veronway, son of Aronway, am I? But how you know my name and fate, I understand not. Side note, Aronway means noble one, and Veronway means steadfast one, which is kind of cool. So at this point, Tuor is going to just blow this elf's mind. And I can't help but think he might have been a little excited to finally tell someone about it. He's like, oh, bro, check this right. Quote, I know, for the Lord of Waters spoke to me yestereve, and he said that he would save you from the wrath of Ose and send you hither to be my guide.
He's like, what is it? When people talk like, yeah, pretty cool. Like he's like checking his like his nails, and he's like, yeah, I guess. Like,
not sure if you've heard of him. This, some people call him the Lord of Waters. I call him Ulmo because we're tied like that. But yeah, he told me all about you and that you were coming. So no big deal. But Veronway is understandably shooketh. Quote, then in fear and wonder, Veronway cried, you have spoken with Ulmo the Mighty? Then great indeed must be your worth and doom. But whither should I guide you, Lord? For surely a king of men you must be, and many must wait upon your word. Actually,
wow,
no.
Yeah,
I've been by myself for quite some time.
He like hides,
but also like you have spoken to Ulmo, the Ulmo the Mighty.
Yeah. And he's like,
you must be really important, like royalty or something. He doesn't just talk to anyone, like you must be real important. And Tuor, instead of like lying and going on with it, like, yes, I actually am a king of men, can't you tell? Instead, he says, quote, nay, I am an escaped thrall, and I am an outlaw alone in an empty land. But I have an errand to Turgon, the hidden king. Know you by what road I may find him? Nah, I'm actually an escaped prisoner. Pretty much a hardcore rebel. But Ulmo gave me a special top secret mission to find Turgon. So yeah, do you know how to get there by chance?
You haven't been there before or whatever.
So then Veronway says, quote, many are outlaw and thrall in these evil days who were not born so. A lord of men by right you are, I deem. But were you the highest of all your folk, no right would you have to seek Turgon, and vain would be your quest. For even were I to lead you to his gate, you could not enter in.
Oh.
Like, who isn't an outlaw nowadays? I mean, pretty much dime a dozen with Morgoth around, am I right? But, even if you were a special king, I can't just take you to Turgon. I mean, no one just gets to go see Turgon. Who do you think you are, like Hurin or Hor? I mean, that's silly nonsense.
And he doesn't put the two and two together.
Right.
Tuor
responds. So he actually says, very matter of fact, quote, I do not bid you to lead me further than the gate. Their doom shall strive with the council of Ulmo. And if Turgon will not receive me, then my errand will be ended and doom shall prevail.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, he's very like, well, I tried my best.
At least I tried.
Yeah. I did that.
Ulmo didn't exactly specify that I had to go past the gate. Like, I think he just said something about going to this hidden city or trying to find Turgon. I don't know, something along those lines. I feel like if I at least tried, then it should count, right? I mean, it should be fine.
What movie? It's like a cartoon, I think, where they like get up to something and they like get up to a gate, or it's like some like scary building or some scary boss at the end of whatever, and he's like, well, we tried. And they like turn around. Oh, it's in Robots. The movie Robots. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Where they like get up to the like end like scary lady, and one of the characters is like, "Well, we tried. Let's go home. Like, we're done. We tried our best, and we're not going to do this. So let's go."
But I mean, on the other hand, it is kind of interesting that he's like, he understands Ulmo's stance of like almost trying to change like what's going to happen by sending Tuor in. But he's like, well, if Ulmo's plan doesn't work here, then, you know, I guess what's going to happen is going to happen. Like, because remember, like the doom of Mandos and the doom of like the fate of the world has already been quote unquote set, but it's Ulmo who's trying to change things, and Ulmo sometimes wins and sometimes he doesn't. So, you know, it's kind of interesting that he's like, yeah, I'm on this team Ulmo, and sometimes we might win. Who knows?
Interesting. I never realized that he's like trying to change it. Like you would think that, you know, he's a Valar. He's like, this is the way it has to go.
Right. But that's one thing that I found really interesting about last week's conversation is that Ulmo was like basically saying that he was born to be the contrarian of the group, which fun, but also kind of maybe lonely. Maybe like people hold it against him. I don't know.
Huh. I'm getting like Good Omens vibes from that.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, we're trying to stop it, but also no one agrees with us, and they're like, it just has to happen.
Mm-hmm. So as far as Tuor's right to seek Turgon, he says, quote, I am Tuor, son of Hor, and kin to Hurin, whose names Turgon will not forget. And I seek also by the command of Ulmo. Will Turgon forget that which he spoke to him of old? Remember that the last hope of the Noldor cometh from the sea. When peril is nigh, one shall come from Nevras to warn thee. I am he that should come, and I am arrayed thus in the gear that was prepared for me.
He's got a point. Yep.
But, you know, it's like my uncle and father got to see Turgon without even trying. So if they can, why can't I? Like, I should be on the list, right? Plus, didn't you hear about almost super cryptic and super secret warning about me? I mean, Ulmo all but mentioned me by name. I even dressed the part. Like, I don't know how I even know about it, because obviously I wasn't even born when Ulmo told Turgon about this, but must be that telepathic connection that Ulmo and I share.
And these clothes fit me perfectly. I mean, they're literally tailored to me. They are mine.
So Faranway's mind is just continually blown at this point. He's like, because no one but the hidden people knew about Ulmo's warning. I mean, except Ulmo, of course. So Tuor knowing this is like earth-shattering.
Whoa.
But despite this obvious demonstration of Tuor's destiny, despite it being spearheaded by Ulmo himself, Faranway does something in this Unfinished Tales version that I feel like he doesn't do in the Silmarillion. In the Silmarillion, I feel like Faranway is just like in awe of Tuor's destiny and involvement with Ulmo, and he's just like, sure, I'll take you to Gondolin, no problem. But here in the Unfinished Tales, we get to learn a bit more about Faranway, which I find interesting. Quote, he, Faranway, turned away and looked toward the sea, and he sighed. Alas, I wish never again to return, and often have I vowed in the deeps of the sea that, if I ever set foot on land again, I would dwell at rest far from the shadow in the north, or by the havens of Círdan. But if evil has grown while I have wandered, and the last peril approaches them, then I must go to my people. I will lead you to the hidden gates, for the wise will not gainsay the counsels of Ulmo.
Wow. I mean, poor Faranway.
I know. Like, I wasn't planning on going back to the hidden city. I thought a lot about this. I had a lot of time to think about it while I was trying not to die in the ocean. I mean, it would be nice to settle down somewhere else, but I feel like if you don't help Ulmo, you would be kind of screwed. so I guess I'll lead you to the hidden city.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I mean, how much worse can my life get, all right? Like, I don't see it getting any worse.
Yeah. So I can only imagine Tuor's crestfallen face when he first hears that Veronway's not going to help him and not wanting to go back to the hidden city. And then Tuor's face just like perks up when he changes his mind, like a dog. Like, oh yes, let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
So Tuor is really excited now. He's like, quote, "Then we will go together as we are counseled, but more not for Ronway. For my heart says to you that far from the shadow your long road shall lead you, and your hope shall return to the sea." Like, yay, road trip buddies. You provide the snacks, I'll provide the tunes because I've got this awesome harp. But you know what, buddy? I think everything is going to work out just fine. In fact, this might be my Ulmo telepathy.
Ulmo-lepathy.
Ulmo
telepathy
at work. But I think you will one day go back to the sea.
Do you think he's like this happy-go-lucky, like, golden retriever of a person? Like, oh, yeah,
that is exactly what I pictured. That is exactly what I pictured was a golden retriever. And Veronway's just like a cat. Just like, meh.
Fine.
So Veronway cryptically says, quote, "And yours also. But now we must leave it and go in haste." Like, I was just thinking the same thing about you, but there's no time to talk about it. We'll talk about it later. We must be gone.
He's like, yeah, let's go.
Hi, okay. So Tuor then says, quote, "Yay, but whither will you lead me and how far? Shall we not first take thought how we may fare in the wild, or if the way be long, or how pass the harborless winter?" Okay, let's plan this out. We have to make a packing list. We have to make a grocery list. What kind of timeline are we talking here? Do I need to pack long johns? How many pairs of underwear are we talking here? This is like a 6 trip, or what are we talking? 12? I don't know.
Do you think he's like has mixtapes and like of just his singing like his own tunes? He's like and I call this one Seabird, like Wonderwall. And now I'm gonna play Wonderwall.
And then like, this was in my dark time in the cave, and it's just him going
it's really dark. Darkness. What does that sound? It's really spooky in here. I don't have any friends except maybe that mummified bat that died a long time ago. Or he's like, he sings a song about his bird friends. Or what other songs would he sing on their road trip? Definitely a song about his bird friends. Definitely a song about being in a cave.
And you and me.
And I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more.
Yes.
And poor Veronway's like,
oh my gosh.
Hey, buddy, all my friends just died. Can we like tone it down? Like just a little.
So
and then he's like,
Veronway refuses to give any clear answers. Oh, okay.
No, he's like, okay, I got it. And then he's like, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again. He's like, not great either. Not a good one. Not 11. And no. Veronway's like quiet after a while, and then he starts singing with him, and then they duet, and then they become friends.
Aww. I like it. So yeah, he needs to know how long a mixtape he needs to make here. Yeah. Like, is this like a 2 mixtape? Is this like a double-sider? I mean, I just need to know what kind of length we're going for here.
I want that montage now. So can someone please illustrate and animate this montage where they're like little snippets of them going through different terrains, and poor Veronway is like a depressed, like sad looking, like bummed out guy, And then Tuor's in the back just singing like la la la, just like different songs for each place. Like just this
I like
happy
it.
guy, and like for some reason he never gets any rain on him. Like his armor's always shiny and bright, like happy. And then Varanwe looks like he's a dunked rat like all the time because he just like came in from the sea and he never got dry.
I like it. I like it. So much
But
funny
it's like a
fiction.
cute little like montage of them like hiking through a forest, then hiking over a mountain, like hiking over things, and like Tor's totally oblivious
Mm-hmm.
and he's just singing different songs each time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I like it. So Veronway is not very clear on any of the on any of the questions that Tuor asks, like where they're going, how long it will take, and he doesn't even give advice to Tuor about how much to pack. He's like, "You know, quote, you know the strength of men. As for me, I am of the Noldor, and long must be the hunger and the cold the winter that shall slay the kin of those who pass the grinding ice." Like, I don't know a lot about you man creatures, but me, I'm one of the OG elves. My ancestors past the freaking grinding ice of the Helcarax. So yeah, we're pretty tough. Like I never thought of Veronway as like boastful until this quote. Like, you know the strength of men better than I do. Like,
I'm sorry. I just got a pop to my head of them traveling together as Branch and Poppy from the Trolls.
I knew there was one up. Or like in Brother Bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Where like he's singing all the time, just happy, and he's like, "We have to survive. Can you please just come on? Let's just finish."
I'm like thinking of that scene in Brother Bear where the older one is like stomping in the rain, like not stomping, but like just like trudging through the mud in the rain, and then the little kid behind him is literally like every puddle he finds, he's like ah, ah, ah. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? What's his name? Veronway is probably a really nice guy, and he's like, "We'll do this together." And he's really wise and noble, and Tuor is
I'm
probably
sure,
like
yeah.
very like, "We can do this." But I just like imagining them like one's grumpy and one's like, "Yay, roach!"
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yes, 100%.
He's like, "I haven't had a friend in so long," and then Veronway's like, "I can tell." I haven't had a human friend that wasn't a bird. He's like, uh-huh. And then he's like, "You're not a bird."
So then
I haven't seen another person in a really long time. "You're not a bird, right?"
little does he know, his daughter-in-law will turn into a bird? No. Yes. Daughter-in-law. Yes. Daughter-in-law will turn into a bird. Had to think
Amazing.
about it. So Veronway continues, quote, "Yet how think you that we could labor countless days in the... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. This is Veronway, sorry. Yet how think you that we could labor countless days in the salt wastes of the sea? Or have you not heard of the way bread of the elves? And I keep still that which all mariners hold until the last." Then he showed beneath his cloak a sealed wallet clasped upon his belt. "No water nor weather will harm it while it is sealed, but we must husband or conserve it until great need, and doubtless an outlaw and hunter may find other food ere the year worsens." Lembas bread!
What?
Special elf bread. But also, like, what kind of sealed wallet do you think that was? Like, how do you seal waterproof a wallet? What?
Huh.
What kind of...
Interesting.
But also, not saying this is a plot hole, I just have questions for Tolkien, like logistically. How did he get lembas bread when there was mainly a Melian thing who was in Doriath, different locations, and then it was later a Galadriel thing because Melian taught Galadriel, but they're not... Turgon was in his like kingdom all by himself. I don't know how he got it.
Maybe they wrote recipes to each other. They mail them.
Maybe. But
It's a
Tuor doesn't seem to
subscription
confirm.
service. They get
Way bread of the way bread of the month club.
recipes. Yeah, yeah.
Tuor doesn't seem to confirm or deny his knowledge about the way bread, which I wish he would have commented on, because that seems like something maybe the gray elves he grew up with might have had. Like I think that's more likely.
What if it's different regionally?
That would be kind of cool. Well, anyway, he just moves right along that and says, referring to the hunting along the way, Tuor says, quote, "Maybe, but not in all lands it is safe to hunt, be the game never so plentiful, and hunters tarry on the road." Like, hunting does take a long time, especially if they're both in a hurry to get to the hidden city. But why do you think certain lands wouldn't be safe to hunt in? Like, maybe, like, orcs are in the area, or because the available game to be hunted could be too dangerous? I keep thinking of, like, those, I'm not sure if you ever played the Middle Earth game, but there's these huge freaking giant troll things that are terrifying.
I was thinking, like, giant pigs, like the big...
Oh, sure.
Scary, warthoggy, like, what are those called?
I don't know.
Boars. A boar.
A boar, yeah. So, anyways, Tuor and Veronwë made ready to depart. Maybe Veronwë got cleaned up a bit after a shipwreck, near drowning experience. Maybe Tuor had some seagulls or swans to say goodbye to. But, you know, when they're finally ready...
Quote, he's like covered in birds. He's like, "And I will miss you most, Stephen. You gave me the most beautiful feather. Valerie, you did great. Quote, I'm so proud of you. You gave me directions that were amazing. Michael, don't ever stop being you, man. You're great." He's like,
your alarm clock was my favorite noise.
His arms are stretched out and he has birds like all over him, like on his arms and on his head and everything. And then Veronwë is like getting ready and he looks up and he sees that and he's like, "What am I doing? Like, who is this guy?"
So if you're wondering what they took with them, quote, Tuor took with him the small bow and arrows that he had brought, beside the gear that he had taken from the hall. But his spear, upon which his name was written in the elven runes of the north, he set upon the wall in token that he had passed. No arms had Veronwë, save a short sword only. Huh. So many questions here. He didn't know that his name was written on it, which would have been even like more, what? I wonder if Veronwë pointed that out to him, maybe by chance.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, who was Tuor expecting to come across this spear? Like, this place has been abandoned. You happened to come upon it because Ulmo led you there. Like, why? What is the point to leave behind the spear? Like, if he has too much to carry, I don't know, why not give it to Veronwë, who literally is traveling with just a sword and rags? Like,
yeah.
Why not?
No, you don't get this.
First. So while Tuor travels in his fancy new armor and new weapons, plus his invisibility cloak, Veronwë is just going to be literally carrying a sword and his rags. Well, and that's how they're going to set off. So
okay, yeah. Also, why didn't he give that poor guy a spear? Like, no, you don't get to hold my spear. It has my name on it.
It has my name on it, but I'm just going to leave it here just in case. Like, why not use it?
It's like, it's very much like
Dumb and Dumber with the gloves.
No, you get the gloves, but we just finished watching The Three Amigos when he's like really thirsty and the other guy is drinking his canteen and he's like drinking it so much and then he just pours out the rest of it onto the ground and the other guy doesn't get any. That's what it reminds me of.
100%. So they're getting ready to go on their journey, and that's actually where I'm going to leave you for today.
Oh, okay. We don't get the start of the road trip.
Nope.
Dang it. We need to make a road trip playlist for them.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll have to take some votes. If you want to send in your road trip tune, suggestions, we will maybe compile a playlist. How about that?
Way to the danger zone. Yeah. No, Tuor's totally singing that. Oh my gosh. And then Veronway's like, this is not going to bode well. It's giving off like Andy from Parks and Rec and Ben Wyatt.
Yeah, I could see that.
Where's Hogwarts? What? No, Hogwarts is.
I need you to know. I really need
you to that you know that.
That's one of my favorite parts.
It's important to me that you know that.
Well, if you are enjoying our adventures through Tolkien's Tales and want to keep the party going, follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. It's where the magic happens off air, and you definitely don't want to miss out on all the magic. And, you know, every Hobbit knows that a little support goes a long way. Become a patron at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast and join our fellowship of the podcast. Woo! Just like our dwarf friend of the Shire, Dan, and our elf friends, Krishane and Tom. Your support helps keep our quest alive, and we really, really appreciate it.
Oh, and Oakley also says, please support in the background. That's what he's yelling. He's like, please support. I got it. Whoa, which is so advanced for a 2-year-old. I mean, that's crazy.
So advanced. Yeah. And he's also, leave us a rating. I literally heard that. Leave us a rating or a review. And, you know, just share with your friends. We love to hear from other people like, hey, I started listening. We're friendly. We're nice. We promise. Yeah. And you know what? Your sharing or your review might just be the very thing that helps us defeat the dark forces of podcasting expenses. So not much in the.
Please help us out. That'd be awesome. We love you forever.
We will love you forever. Not much in the world news department, except some overtakings of countries. Czech Republic overtook Thailand, and they are now 15th. France overtook one of the Netherlands. There's 2 Netherlands, in case you were wondering. So that one person that is the Netherlands versus Netherlands,
they're fighting with each other.
Overtook. France overtook them, and France is now 23rd. Russia overtook Japan and is now 38th. So keep it going, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for teaching me today.
You're welcome.
And maybe we'll come up with a really cool playlist on our Instagram or something of what you would put.
Heck yeah.
We'll put it as a poll or a question answer, and you guys fill it in. We'll put on songs.
Yes. There you go. I like it. All right. Okay. Well, until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby. And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we are happy you are here. And we hope that you can join us next time. Bye.